This Black History Month, Ulta, one of the phenomenal corporate sponsors of our event, announced a four-pronged approach to combat racial justice in its environment. This includes plans to double the number of Black-owned brands in its assortment, amplify Black voices in media through its Muse platform, create better in-store experiences for its customers, and offer more career advancement opportunities for its associates. The announcement came with a $25 million pledge to support these four pillars, with $4 million of that going directly to supporting Black-owned brands. With the help of global ad agency McCann, Ulta launched the Muse pillar with a campaign video announcing their commitment to Muse, an acronym meaning magnify, uplift, support, and empower Black voices in beauty. Today, we have some of the amazing women here to discuss the power of Black female creatives, entrepreneurs, and executives in shaping the future of beauty. And now for our panelists. So our moderator today is Blake Newby, a freelance beauty writer for publications like The Zoe Report, Allure, Nylon, BET, Hello Giggles, just to name a few. She prides herself on using her voice and platform to highlight Black women and Black brands making a difference in the industry. Gabrielle Shirdan is VP Creative Director based in New York. At McCann, she's also crafted work for the Ad Council and Microsoft. Armed with a passion for creating authentic and emotionally provocative work, she strives to construct the creative that moves the culture forward, the work that keeps us up at night and helps us sleep. Karla Davis is the VP of Marketing at Ulta Beauty. She is a high-performing leader whose innovative spirit, influence, and partnerships is helping change the face of beauty. Her tenure at Ulta has been transformative for the organization, as she has helped establish the brand's positioning, brand identity, and brand purpose. She has a deep passion for the diverse and inclusive beauty space, which has led her to continually advocate for our community to ensure all beauty lovers can feel seen, heard, and valued at Ulta Beauty. CEO and founder of Camille Rose Naturals, Janelle Stevens has been at the forefront of the radical shift in the billion dollar beauty industry and has been an iconic trendsetter within the space from the start of the movement. Her rise to the top has been nothing short of inspirational tale of grit and determination. In a few short years, a hobby morphed into a multi-million-dollar company with legions of fans, throngs of supporting retailers, which include Walmart, Target, Whole Foods, and infinite possibilities to come. Before I welcome all of them, I'm actually going to show you all the Ulta Black Muses video for a little bit of inspiration before we bring on the ladies for our session. So give me a second.
Here's to the Muses. Our mothers always knew we'd be the ones to make magic. All that glitters, well, isn't always told. We are all shades of gold, black and beautiful. We are beauty. We are making our mark, from Madam Walker to running the world. Look, a red lip is only good if you speak up. Eyes lined as we stare down what was once said impossible. We define beauty with legacies and melodies in our melanin. See it in the conviction of our curls. This is for the culture. This is our dream. The possibilities are beautiful. And they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So really, behold her.
Yes.
All right, all right. I hope everyone's feeling inspired. I sure am. And I will hand it over to Blake, our moderator for today.
Thank you, Nanette, and thank you to these beautiful ladies who I have the pleasure of speaking with today. Clearly, the video speaks for itself. There is such a wealth of knowledge on this virtual panel and not a lot of time, so I'm gonna hop right into it, starting with you, Karla. Can you talk about just the concept for this incredible campaign and where it came from and what it was born from?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. Karla Davis. This has been an amazing day. Like Ella your vision and how the team has brought this together, like, is nothing short of amazing. I didn't expect it to be anything otherwise. So I just want to throw that out there because I've just been listening along all day, and it's been such a treat to really see all these amazing women come together and really like support the community in such a amazing and unique way. And like, to be very frank, like that's a lot of what is behind even the thought here. Quick little background, as you were saying, like I've been at Ulta Beauty, it's been about 6 years now, and we have been on a journey, right? Like we were coming from a place where Ulta Beauty was not synonymous with Black women at all. I had barely shopped in an Ulta Beauty myself when I started on the marketing team. And it was because it had never been a prioritized space, even though in its DNA, it was about being inclusive. It was about this idea of breaking down barriers of how we think about beauty, but it had not manifested in how they operated within the Black beauty space. And so we, had been continuing to push. Part of it was even how we thought about who we bring to the table to help create our communication, our voice, our tone. And that is even how Ms. Gabrielle came into play, and really working with our agency to ensure that behind the scenes of our creative was as diverse as it needed to be to tell the right story. So Ms. Gabrielle came onto the scene with the team last summer, and we were actually down the path of a holiday campaign, and she brought this idea. And it was supposed to be a sliver of a piece of our holiday campaign. And we were like, this is so much bigger than a moment in time, right? Like this is a platform that needs to be the underpinning of what we are about. And it needs to really give life to something that we all know and have continued to talk about, and has just gotten manifested over this last year, is that like Black women are at the base of the inspiration of the category. And yet, even my partner in crime over here is giving me my amens and my claps because talking about this for so long. But, like that's what Muse is about, right? A muse is an inspiration, is a place of like growth and pull for you, and that's what Black women are to the beauty industry, but have never been articulated as such. And so that is where we really started going with this, and just kind of riffing off of that. Like, if we are the inspiration, if we have been the backbone to this, what is owed to that, right? And that's how this film became what we called like our ode to Black beauty and to Black inspiration. So that's really where it came out of.
And Gabrielle, like she was saying, this was you. This is your baby, your brainchild. So how was it, as a creative, how do you see, before you had created this, what was your vision of Black women in beauty? Like what did you see?
Yeah, I saw my mother. I think that's like, and I love the story, Karla, that you told. We don't have to get to tell that backstory that we were pitching campaigns about like buying holiday products and like glitter and red and green. And I was like, okay, but I have one more idea to show. Split it in there, and I jokingly say that all of my creative ideas are either inspired by my mother or Jay-Z. And this one has no Jay-Z lyric attached to it. It was entirely, a lot of us, I'm sure, can attest to our first memories of beauty were our mother, our grandmothers, our aunties, our sisters, our best friends. And so, she's at the root of this, right? She taught me to believe that everything is possible. So, I get to certain places in my life and I'm like, wait, that's not possible. What do you mean? No, cause I just was raised by such an incredible Black woman who taught me the true meaning of beauty and what that extended to. And so I felt like it was, when we get an opportunity to be in positions like Karla and myself, we have a responsibility and a duty to take advantage of our platform and our privilege and our power to tell the stories that haven't been told. And those are the stories of where beauty came from. And we all know that we are looking at the faces of where beauty came from. And so this was indeed, we set out on a journey to write a love letter to Black women. And I wrote this poetry, the voiceover that you guys heard, I wrote that at like 3 a.m. And it was one of those pieces that I just kept writing. Sometimes they tell you don't pick up the pen, just keep going. And I'm so thankful Karla didn't even have like any changes.
We're like,
So we,
just go with that. Yeah.
Which is an unreal thing to happen, as you guys know, in creative. But it was literally just like from the heart. And we tried to make it not only an ode to beauty, or to Black women and to their beauty, but a kind of look towards the future, right? This notion of a red lip is only good if you speak up, and turning beauty into something much more powerful and purposeful. And trying to kind of get people to think about it differently, that we are not just our red lips and our hair and our curls, but we are so much deeper than that. And so that's kind of where it came from. I mean, I can get poetic and keep talking, but yeah, we definitely snuck this in. And if it wasn't for partners like Karla, it would have stayed on that cutting room floor. And so I'm grateful that we've been able to bring it to the world, because we definitely do. You know, I think it was that poetry and a slide that said, let's change the world. So super exciting. I hope that answers it.
It did. And speaking, more logistically, one thing that we have seen, especially now, there's been a lot of talk about publications, photographers not properly photographing and filming Black women in proper light, in proper clothing, all of those things. So when you think logistically, just to how beautiful the commercial is, if there were no words, just looking at it tells a story. Can you talk about why it was so important for you to have a Black team of creatives behind the scenes to really make sure that these Black women were reflected in their best light?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
go ahead. Yeah, you want to kick off?
Yeah, if you don't, it's funny. That's my vision for everything I do. Even if I'm selling a sneaker or a laundry detergent, my crew always has to be Black. And so that, it only made more sense for me here to be, sometimes our casting of our crew has to be so intentional. And that is, I think, the miss of like what a lot of people do. And so it was so important that we chose not only the characters in front of the film, in front of the lens, but also behind it. So everybody from Karla and I at the table, to our director of photography, to the Black woman hanging the lights, like our lighting person. And if you know, like film, it's very rare to have that. My gaffer was a Black woman. Like the hair, makeup, nails, that's important to me no matter what set we're on. But for this one, it was incredibly key for that to be honored. Because it was not only an ode to Black women, it was an ode to Black creators as well. And everyone who made this, from Alana Wright to Mecca J. Williams to Andrita Renee to Dawn Sterling to Joshua Kissy to Jomo Frey. Like, I mean, it's so powerful, to the point where we were crying on set, just in awe of the Blackness that we were able to bring together.
Yeah. And I'll say from, like the client side of it, like, Gabrielle and I joke often on this one. We were like, so we're either going to be put on a pedestal or fired for this one, because reality is it was something so like unheard of for my business. And not to say that they were anti it, it's just there had never been a situation in which this kind of thing could have happened. And for us to put it out there in a way that it was like, this was not just about telling a story in front of the camera. We wanted the story behind the camera to be just as inspiring. And that took, going into spaces and places that we had not done before, and being okay saying, we intentionally want this to be all Black. Yeah. And that's okay. Right. And y'all got to excuse me. I'm at home. My little girl is actually playing with the doorbell right now. So you hear all that in the background. This is what happens on Saturday afternoon. Like she just keeps playing with the doorbell. But it was about making an investment. And, you called out some of the elements of what came with this, because I will say that was very key to this idea of receipts that came along with the communication, right? Like I am a communicator. I'm a marketer, I'm a business person overall. But in the role that I play at Ulta Beauty really doesn't have as much connection as when I've been in consumer packaged goods on the full P&L and the total business. But this had to be a total business support kind of thing. I can't come out as the communicator saying that we value Black voices and we value Black beauty, and the rest of our organization was not reflecting that. So there was a very intentional plan and process all the way down to the week before to say, when we put this on air, what are we saying that we're doing along with this? And so that's where the Black creators and all the stuff behind the scenes was a core piece of it, but it also had to be the full proposition of the business.
And you use the word investment. How is the Black Muses campaign a reflection of Ulta's investment in Black brands as well, occupying their shelves?
Yeah, absolutely. So this has definitely been a part that came along with it, where it was not just about, and we've had a lot of conversations about like the sustainability of Black brands, and what a lot of that takes is the onus on the retailer, on the wholesale partner to get in it with them, right? And that's a lot of what we were trying to make sure was happening as we're starting to do things like bring Whitney White into the actual ad as one of our new brands, right? Bring Nancy Twine into the ad as one of our brands, so that it was one of the ways, the many ways that we're saying, not only are we bringing you in, but we want to be real intentional about like how we help to make sure that it is sustainably brought in and sustainably supported, right? Because that is a lot of what happens. We work, I mean, our business is massive. We are a large retailer, and we're not a cheap date, right? Like as it relates to what it takes to keep the momentum in the business. So we wanted to make sure that in doing this kind of work, we were very also thinking about like, how do we use this as a way to support those brands as they come in to help to ensure more of their success.
And Gabrielle, Karla just spoke about sustainability and momentum. How do you hope that the work that you all did with the Black Muses campaign creates a blueprint, if you will, for other brands and retailers to follow suit of what these campaigns and these rollouts truly should look like for Black creatives?
Yeah, it's a great question. I've actually heard from a couple people in the industry, like one of my executive producer friends was like, the Muses campaign came up in 2 mood boards recently. And I was like, great, we made it, because that's the goal. We're not being selfish. This is not, ours. The goal is for more brands to get more bold and to make more bigger statements, right? Because when in the past, when brands try to make statements like this, they're often sugar-coated, they won't say Black. I was like, wow, we got to say the word melanin, Black, beautiful, Madam Walker, all in the same spot. And that it was so important for us to, if you're going to talk about it, then talk about it. And so I love it that brands could be true, that they can, create messages that are actually written by the Black women that they're speaking to. I think that's key, right? There's this big difference between marketing to someone and then marketing for someone. And it's even better when you can market from someone, right? Karla and I are the end of that love letter, as well as the writers of it. And so I definitely hope that, brands, particularly as they cast their agencies and their creative teams, think about that, and know that nobody but us could make a love letter like that. So I hope that it does embolden brands to make bigger statements, know that they have to actually take steps forward, right? Because at the end of the day, they need us.
Right.
They need. And so I think when brands that require the Black consumer, the Black coin, Black culture, Black creativity, that's when they have to take steps. And, and Karla, I'm sure, can speak to us. We've been in a handful of meetings in our careers where the conversation of, well, we don't want to alienate Middle America comes up.
Yeah.
And I know that they stormed the Capitol, and so that went out the door. So I think you have to understand when you try to make these messages, I hope that brands and agencies and marketers take the steps to actually respect and quite frankly, respect has been due. And so now it's like, it's no more soft stepping, no more beating around the bush, just say it and know that we are owed it, perhaps.
And Karla, for you, as someone that is so immersed in beauty from all angles, the creative side, the brand side, the development side, tying it back to why we're here today, for you, what is the future of beauty, in particular Black beauty?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been really interesting to see the ability for it to manifest in so many other places than was expected. I think it's going to be really interesting to watch, right? Like our business is just kind of waking up to and really trying to push in now on Black beauty brands. I'll be very frank that like the spaces that they most show up are in Black hair care, right? Because it was a unique need that only we understand. And so it makes a ton of sense that that is where we are, most entrenched. But what I'm looking forward to and starting to see more and more are 2 things. One, like showing up in other categories that aren't just about the fact that I'm Black, but it's I just so happen to be Black and can make great business, right? that's where I see that this needs to go. I mean, or on the flip side, right? Like even staying in hair care, but you know, what I think has been the phenomenal thing that Nancy Twine has been able to do is she built a brand that happens to be at a Black woman at the base of it and works for everybody versus building a brand that's just specific. And I mean, you can do that, but I love the space and the place for it to go multiple ways. It doesn't have to just be that. It doesn't have to be an either or. So I see that that's being a big piece of it. I think the other piece that, you know, as we talk about it, and I loved where Angel was going, is brands being in a place to be able to set the pace and the expectations from retailers the way that retailers have done in the past, because the more you can build your social and your community platform first, now you have something we're looking for, right? Like we're looking for the juice that you have versus always being the gatekeeper, and knowing that your power comes from the community that you can build first and foremost, that is connected to you and that you're now bringing to the retailer, and now you're adding value and being able to yield that for more results for you. Right. And so that's where I just love, as people have the ability to build their own communities, both online and other ways, to be able to then have more of a power in those conversations with retailers.
And the question that I'm sure everybody wants to know, at least based on the chat and the reaction to the video, are we gonna get another one? We would like another one. I know you said that you want to make it so where it doesn't have to be just about us being Black, but we really enjoyed that celebration of us all being Black.
Absolutely. I mean, and thank you all too, because I will say the community's response for it is making space for more. Like it's showing what we were all hoping and praying. I mean, you know, we're about to put play on this thing. We're like, we hope people like it. we hope that it doesn't become this space that is just like, you know, you try, and going in these spaces can be scary, because let's be real, we live in a cancel culture real tough. And the minute you get one thing off, right, like all of the value that you were trying to put into this thing can somehow go to the wayside. And what has just been the most like amazing blessing out of this is that like we put it out in a way that we were prayerful would hit in a really authentic way, and it has shown that doing that stuff resonates. And what's beautiful is it resonates not just with Black audiences. I was in a Kantar share out a couple weeks ago, and they were talking about Gen Z is seeing that as an example of what it looks like to be a brand. So then when it has more value than just the Black women, then keep them coming, you know? And so that's what we're just hoping that we'll continue to be able to show, so that we can, you know, drip a little bit more Blackness on y'all screens from time to time.
Yeah. And then we also got to release, it wasn't just that big anthem film that had, broadcast time. It also had the series of incredible Black women and the Black entrepreneurs, right? We got to tell Lisa Price's story. That was one of the best interviews of my life. Julie Wilson, the next best interview of my life. Cara Savin, Whitney White, and Nancy Twine. We got to tell their stories. And it wasn't just the story that I think you've heard before, right? Cara Savin was able to say, hair discrimination is still illegal in 43 states. Like normally that would have been like, oh, let's not say that part. Oh, let's just talk about, curls and, something that's just like super top level. But we were able to get deep and tell those stories in a real authentic way where we didn't even script those. So I love, let's do more.
And Karla, can you tell us, does Ulta have plans to have more Black women like you at the helm of what they're doing, both on the creative side, on the product side, just throughout?
We are trying. I mean, I will say, and it is, I mean, people know that they're seeing what's coming out of having these kinds of folks at the table, like real talk. Like the conversation with McCann was about, I need folks that look like who I'm trying to get to on the other side of the table with me. And Gabrielle and a couple other folks have now showed up on that side, and they can now see by doing that, like what we've been able to do together. So I think all of these pieces have just been like, just how God has worked this to show and prove show and prove. And I think with every moment that we've been able to do that, it opens more of the doors. I think the big place too, where we'll probably see more and more that I'm hopeful for is also in the merchandising side of this, right? Because I can't bring in brands, right? And I think they're acknowledging, and exactly to what we were talking about a moment ago, this like being able to have power with the brands that are building community power also comes from being able to create relationship. And those relationships that need to be created there look a little different because the people look a little different. So how do you make sure that you have the right people at the table in service of making those relationships too? So that's another place where I'm super hopeful and starting to see a movement towards ensuring that we're set up to do.
And speaking of relationships, you have a question that was put in the chat for you, Karla. And the question is, what is it going to take to recenter beauty and retail on a more ubiquitous presence of Black women? How can we get to more brands putting women of color in the front and still drawing mass appeal?
Yeah, I think it's a couple of things, right? And we all talk about it, like our dollars, y'all, are what make them decide what is, who their audience is and who they need to not alienate, right? So a lot of times the challenges are like, how often are we still okay purchasing the brands that don't center us? Right? Like a lot of this comes back to where the volume is coming from and where are the things that are driving the decisions behind the scenes. And so we all have to do exactly what we've been talking about, is continue to push towards putting our money behind the brands that look like us, that feel like us, that support us, and being comfortable walking away from the ones that don't, because that is what is going to drive those ultimate business decisions.
And Gabrielle, for you, on the creative side, what do we need in the creative space when it comes to more Black faces behind the scenes? We see too many, far too often, as I mentioned before, too many flubs, too many tone deaf ads, too many things that just don't work. So on the creative side, what is still missing?
I would probably say, Black ownership. I think that's Black at the top, right? Like we talk about diversity so often, perhaps more now than ever. And it's a tough pill to swallow sometimes because they love diversity when it's at the bottom floor, when it's on the first floor, when it's the intern. However, we need more Black and brown faces at the table making the decision. And I love this notion of at the table, right? And it's like be invited to the table. And I think a professor at Princeton said it best, is we helped build the table. And so I love this idea of Black ownership, Black-led agencies, Black-led creative shops, and Black-led creativity, right? And there's also, again, there's two sides of the table, right? If Karla wasn't on the other side of my presentation, I can't guarantee that this work would have seen the light of day. Because I've been advertising over a decade, and I've been fighting this fight and pushing this work forward, right? Even my Super Bowl spot was telling the story of the first woman to coach in the NFL, which was a fight to get on screen. And so it's like, I think we have to continue to push to tell these stories because no one will fight for us like we will. So I would say Black ownership, Black entrepreneurship, and I think that will build the legacies that we want to for us in the creative space.
Well, Karla and Gabrielle, your push and your fight is so appreciated by every woman tuning in and those not. You all have made such an impact on the community. And like I said, if you all do choose to make another video and roll out, I don't think anyone would be the least bit upset. Karla, it looks like we have one last question for you.
Okay.
It says, if you build with your community first and they are Black, how do you prevent your Black-owned brand from being categorized as only for Black?
That is a great question. I mean, like, I think part of it also is how are you setting up your brand to show that it is not otherwise, right? And it's the nuances in it. It doesn't mean that you have to hide Blackness, but how much, in a similar way that we talk about brands needing to show their openness to us, how are you ensuring that a part of how you build your brand shows your openness to other people? Because I think like that, in every way, we all resonate with the way that folks speak and present itself in a way that shows its openness and its interest in our business. So that would just be one of the challenges or questions back to ever ask the question. And so it's just something to reflect on, right? Like, what is it about the way that you're presenting the business that might not be seeming to speak to other groups, if that is your intention? And how do you continue to work through that as you build your community? So that would just be my thought there.
I love it. Well, there you have it, everyone. The future of Black beauty and Black muses. It has been such a pleasure, Karla and Gabrielle. You all are such an inspiration. So Nanette, I know you said you were done talking, but I'm passing it back to you.
Thank
Hey,
you all so
like,
much.
that was phenomenal. Thank you, ladies. I mean, I could watch that video over and over, and I know one's coming. I feel like you guys are skirting around it, but it's on its way. So we can't wait for that. Well, you guys, that is the end of our program for today. I hope that everyone had a phenomenal time. I can't believe this many hours has passed. Back to my housekeeping, remember that all of this was recorded, fortunately, because all of these gems will be available to everyone after our event. Ella, did you want to say something? You're on mute.
I want to thank Karla because she was at our first dinner when we had like that first idea that has blossomed into like a full-blown platform. So thank you so much. And Gabrielle, thank you for joining and lending your expertise. We're going to hand it over to one of our members to close us out. I can't believe this went by so fast though, right? We've been on since noon. So I'm gonna hand it over to Dre.
Hey y'all. I mean, I am so moved. Hello, beautiful, beautiful queens. I am a proud member of 25 BWB, and I'm so full because I am a multifaceted beauty professional, and my career touches corporate, artistry, empowerment, education at the same time. So I got gems to sprinkle around to every quadrant of the world that I serve. But I've been taking notes. I know y'all been getting gems, but I just wanted to kind of recap a couple of things that stood out to me and just send you guys off into this week reminded that this is all food for us, regardless of where we plant our feet in this space. We started this morning with Desiree Rogers and her powerful beauty manifesto for Black Opal. We had one thing I want tatted on my back is driven by patience. Dr. Rose shared with us, and if there is anything that requires patience, it is restructuring an industry that may not have seen us, but they gonna see the heck out of us pretty soon. And so that definitely driven by patience. Growth is not canceled, y'all. It is not. And that Tisha Thompson and LYS and her beautiful vision for her product line definitely shared that with us. We've got the powerful cultural innovations that are being made with medical aesthetics that Dr. Michelle shared with us, and Allergan is supporting and advocating in all their allyship. And I was really, I don't know if y'all really I was writing a million miles an hour when Angela was speaking about those ingredient trends, because I literally like read every bottle like it's my job. What else do we have? CMO gems, learning what the top C-suite Black and brown women and advocates at the top are really setting up for us, and how they do see us down here on the ground, and they are working to make sure there's a deeper connection. And I don't know about y'all, but if you never wanted to say Google me, after Yarden's presentation, I'm gonna just walk up to people and they're gonna be like, what's this Black woman thing? Google me, because everybody else is. Because apparently the charts don't lie. But that is really, and I'm so grateful for this culminating Muse presentation, because I saw it prior to this and I was on fire. And it's how you feel to see your friends and women that I know Julie since she was at Real Simple. You know what I'm saying? We've been in here with each other, y'all. And it means a lot to just see not only people you admire, but people you grew in this industry with, that you might have cried with, that you might have had to call and be like, they tried me, girl, but we stuck it out. And I'm so grateful that this vision has been created. And I do want another video. So that is my request. Again, I'm just going to reiterate Blake's request. We're not being subtle. You said, Gabrielle, if we going to say it, right? We have a request. But I want you all to be blessed. I want you all to take good care of yourselves and each other. And I've been following all of y'all, so don't be ignoring me, y'all, because I need friends. No, but I really think this space, and I'm so grateful to Ella and everyone for creating this space, because what we're doing is not happening everywhere, y'all. And if you don't know how privileged, blessed, fortunate you are to sit in this room right now, I hope these presentations let you know that. So again, thank you, Ella. And we just gonna keep this party going. And oh yeah, the last note, where the money resides, y'all, where you put your coins is where the coins are the bricks, y'all. So we got to figure out where we're building. So I'm so grateful. Thank you, Ella. And I'm gonna throw it back to you.
Yes, no, we're done. That's it. It's a wrap. It'll be recorded.
All right, y'all. Have a blessed week.
Bye. Bye.